Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Arthur Murray Lifestyle Series. I'm Victoria Regan, the Global Ambassador of Arthur Murray International. And today our guest is Danielle Heroux, who has been with the company for 40 years, a franchisee for 30 in Dollard-des-Ormeaux, which is the province of Canada. Hi, Danielle.
Hi, Victoria.
Now, we're lucky to be here in person because we've done so many of our lifestyles on Zoom, and here we are at the Worldorama. We want everyone to know about your story. They may not. They see you all the time, judging and as a traveling consultant and coaching. But you started 40 years ago. You're so young. How is that possible? We say that, you know.
I love that.
40 years. So at the beginning, did you see yourself as a franchisee?
Oh, no.
No?
Oh, no. You know, at first you dance and you're in the business because you like dancing. So for me, dancing was the number one thing. And it came, eventually it came, but it was not a dream at first.
Like 10 years later.
Yeah, exactly.
It came. You took 10 years.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what you did for 10 years, because Quebec is still and was a huge dance community, but so you were involved with that. Tell us about your titles and what you did.
Well, I started dancing as a young age. I was around 11. I had a twin sister. We danced together for a while. And so I did, you did a competition and so on and so forth. And the dancing was huge. So there was every weekend a dance competition. So you've seen a lot. So the dancing was a big part of my life during my childhood. Then I had after I've stepped with my sister, we danced together for 9 months. Then I had other partners. And, it leads to more and more after that. So we went to Blackpool. We did theater arts as well as doing Latin. We're like Latin finalists in Canada. So we did.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
You and your sister?
No.
Other partner. Okay. Yeah. And who was that?
Suzanne.
I remember Suzanne.
Yes.
So you became champions. You went to Blackpool. You did theater arts. So you did lifts and everything. And you did Star Search.
Yes. Suzanne and I both had like a ballet background and jazz. So we did a number like it was Latin American with some jazz flavor into it, basically. And we won.
Wow.
It was International Star Search.
Hopefully we have maybe some footage of that.
I've had big
Hopefully we have some footage of that. Because again, since we've been in 40 years, not everyone has seen our performances, although you still can. All right, moving forward, with the scene so big, how was it that you chose Arthur Murray's? There were a lot of choices.
There was a lot. And that question was asked a lot, why don't you open your own studio, independent studio? So by working at Arthur Murray, it's the lady that understood at that time, saw me at one of the competitions in Montreal, like Classique, and she hired us, my partner and myself, to choreograph something for her staff. Mm-hmm. And I was there. She asked me to teach like a few students in there. And one thing after another, so I became a full staff member. And I like the structure. The reason why I decided to see the structure, the business aspect of it, basically, it was easy to see a future with this company. And
it's definitely different than the independent. We're not criticizing, but it's different in the special services we give, the system, as you've said. So we're so happy that you went there, became that. And so you became a franchisee after 10 years. Mm-hmm. You were a teacher first, and then you became a franchisee in Dollard. And how has that transition been since Star Search and it all being about ourselves as dancers, isn't it? How was that?
It was very challenging at first because you have to start leading. So it's not just about yourself. And all those years, like you just mentioned, it's about what you're doing with your dancing, your own time.
Yes.
And something you have to plan and then, train staff, lead them, and be able to create a world that you want with it from hit as well, basically.
And encourage everyone else to compete and show up on time, and you're their mentor. So did you find that very enhancing and a tremendous growth for yourself as a person?
Well, it's great when you see people growing and doing something with it as well, competing and then becoming manager, then opening their own studios. Some of my staff opened studios after that. So that was very rewarding, definitely.
And now how many staff members do you have? I imagine things are still growing.
Now we're 5. After the COVID situation, there was a bit of changes. I'm always looking for new people, but at this point, we're 5.
That's our pitch. And that's one of the reasons we have these lifestyles, because for so many that possibly are just watching it or wondering how to become like you or to be another part of the organization, how you did it, is it possible for everyone? And it is, depending on the work they're ready, they're willing to put in. Moving forward into now and the past, I don't know, you've been a traveling consultant for what, 20 years?
At least, yes. Yeah. So the reason why I was able to do it, because I was able to structure the studio in a way that it was something that, like a passion of mine, wanting to travel, basically. And it did happen. So, you start traveling once, then one thing after another, then you end up being very, very busy traveling.
Yeah, and it's in your blood. I think
yes.
Most franchisees really feel they have to stay every day. But if you can do both, have your people take care of the studio, obviously, and you still are a great dancer, a great teacher, and you love to travel, then that can happen.
And if you feel the need to stay long at the studio during a period of time, you can also choose to do that as well. Basically, you have that flexibility, which is great.
So you travel all around the country. I know you're out all the time. You judge all our major competitions, almost all of them. And you're also on the dance board. Mm-hmm. And so how were you chosen, and how is what part are you playing in that? What do you
Well, I'm also part of the dance director of Area 1 as well.
Oh, that's right. That's very important.
Yeah.
And what does that involve? Again, for those who...
One, we have like our fall forum and the TOC weekend, basically, be able to set up some of the meeting for the certified examiner, as well as some of the dance session as well. Basically.
Yeah, you primary, and that you love, because there's... Absolutely. How many studios are in Area 1 then? We're talking...
I mean, it's
5 or 6 that show up.
A few, there's the New York area, there's Massachusetts, there's Connecticut, Quebec as well. Yes. So there's several studios.
And where you are now, you're enjoying your life. Are there any other things that you have time to do, or you'd like to do on your bucket list?
There's always a lot of things that you like to do. Traveling more, not just traveling for business, but for myself, basically. And I like to work out in the morning. For me, it's important to stay in shape. So I believe that if you teach, you want to be able to demonstrate, so you want to maintain the appearance. I think it's important. So all of that is...
Yes, as an example, because everybody does look up to you. And they go, wow, look at him at this age, which is still young, but it's not easy to maintain it. You always look impeccable with the clothes. And any other future plans for other studios? You're pretty happy where you are now?
Pretty happy where I am. Maybe eventually more, but at this point right now, it's like I'm moving the studio also soon. So they will build condos where I am, so I need to move the location. Yes. So right now, that will be my main focus.
And have you found one?
This week when I'm coming back, I have some appointments. So it's looking good. It's looking good.
I think you said it might be a little larger, which helps. Attracts more people.
Exactly.
And it is a good scene up there.
Dancing is big.
Any advice? I ask this generic question to most. Any advice that you'd give for all watching that are interested in doing more, or how to get there to that place? Not everyone can be a traveling consultant, but that's not always their goal.
Correct.
I mean, just a kind of a skill that one has to have, other than showing up, which is a big one.
I mean, I think, discipline. I think it's a big one, basically. And be yourself. Do it because you enjoy doing it and you want to do it for yourself, not to be able to impress other people, but it has to be a passion. And I think if it's a passion, it makes it much easier.
Passion being the key word.
It is, yes.
And you're still very passionate.
I am.
We can see that.
Yes, I am.
All right, a fun question, kind of a trivia question. The best memory, if you can think of one offhand, with your time with Arthur Murray?
That's a good question. I think, it's at the beginning. When I was an instructor and you start competing in Arthur Murray, and then suddenly you become like standing ovation, you perform, and you say, God, all these people, they like me so much at first, you see. And as a dancer, you always doubt yourself because you get criticized, and that's normal. Yes. That's how we learn. You know it works. So when you feel that reward, it's like all those years and all that time get invested, and suddenly the acclamation, I think was great. That was in Vegas, I believe it was 1988, just before going to Blackpool and representing Canada in the theater arts division.
Applause.
It's good.
It's about that. And
it's about that, yes. That feeling.
I mean, it's not just winning, but when the people, even if you're second or third, yet the people applaud you, that's it. Yeah. Well, we're applauding you again.
Thank you, Victoria.
And then we'll have a nice party at the end of Saturday. We'll be telling you all about that. And so, yes, and we're telling you all about that too. So I will see you later. Thank you so much for this.
It was a pleasure.
I know you have to go judge
me.
again.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
And thank you for watching and supporting The Lifestyles.